Dev stands over me, but I'm too weak to take the Be good, love, he whispers to me, and a sends chills through my body. I can't, I moan into the pillow. I'm too to take it, I say with a shaky breath. He smooths my hair away from my face and tells me it'll make everything feel better. Hi, Bim.
Hi, Nicole.
How are you today?
Listen, I'm sweating like a... No, I'm not going to use the metaphor. I'm sweating. That's all you need to do. It's a very, very hot studio.
Yeah.
But also, it could be that I'm sweating in anticipation of today's episode. Hey, you see what I did there?
Nice.
I branded it. I branded my sweat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Thursday Kit sweat. Yeah.
That's nasty.
You love a bit of it.
I do.
How are you?
I'm okay. It's actually really dreary and gross outside, and not in a sexy way, because it's like raining, but it's not. I want there to be thunder with my rain.
All
So
right.
when there's thunder,
Stop doing that. Why are you dancing with your chest towards me? I don't like it.
it's when there's thunder, it's all this like
Stop moving your shoulders. What the fuck am I looking at?
it's all
Stop.
this like booming, crashing like stuff, and then the thunderstorm ends and it's all humid and you just want to like somebody.
I don't know anything that you're saying right now.
Okay.
You're using sounds that I recognize, but I can't say I can understand any of them.
Well, I understand.
That's all that counts.
Yes,
mate.
yeah.
It's not like we
So-
work for a podcast trying to reach other people.
I know, but
No.
they understand a little.
Okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
That's enough.
So yeah, other than that, it's good. You
Yeah?
know, that's
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here in the studio.
Oh my God. Same.
You know? We had a really good time at the Hot Dogs Pod Fest in Toronto. It was awesome. So much lovely feedback.
I mean,
The audience was incredible.
I don't want to brag. I think we killed it though.
Yeah, we did. We
I
did
mean, we did. What did we do?
That.
That wasn't even orchestrated, bitch. Yes. No. So that's exactly like I'm riding a real high, and I'm excited
yeah.
about what the future holds. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm excited. It's great. It's great.
And I'm especially excited about our guest today, Hunter Harris, associate editor at Vulture.
I am incredibly excited. I have been. Whenever I think about this guest, I start giggling because she maintains a ridiculous Twitter presence, and it's my favorite thing.
I love it so much.
It's just dirt.
Where we are some thirst experts,
Yes.
she comes in and is just like, and now the student will surpass the master.
Truly. There are times when I'm going through her Twitter and I just have to hold my face in my hands because I'm like, this is a masterclass. Our guest today, Nicole, is the one and only Hunter Harris.
Yes.
Hi, Hunter.
You know what? Hello. I'm happy to be here.
Wow.
We're gonna get into your
Your everything.
Yes,
into it.
yes, your thirsty pop culture coverage,
Yeah.
which is top notch,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Second to none.
Yeah, yeah.
It's truly wow. I feel like I'm in the presence of some kind of savant right now. I'm so excited to talk about everything that you consider in your thirst purview, but also specifically about one man, and that is, of course, Dev Patel.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
So grab something soft to sit on and flex your toes, maybe. Get a drink.
You're
We're about to
definitely
get
gonna
into
need
it.
a drink today.
So, Nicole, I come from a country called England. You may have heard of it. It's a small, rainy, fascist island.
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah. And we make exemplary teen TV.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna trust your judgment on that one.
I think you should.
Yeah. I don't watch teens. So.
That's fine. That sounds creepy and weird, but I know what you meant. I did. I watched a TV show that has quite the sparkling alumni. When you think about it, it was on Channel 4 in the UK. It was very experimental. It had all the newspaper tabloids in a tizzy because it was like, oh my God, rampant drug use. Oh my God, sex. But it was a very, very good show, and it was exciting, and it was different, and it was called Skins.
Yes, I have heard of this show.
You've heard of Skins?
Yes.
There was a tragic American remake.
I ignored that. I ignored the English one as well, but yes, I've heard of them
Doubly
both.
so. That was me for the American one. I was like, no. But it starred quite a few people who've gone on to bigger things.
Right, yeah.
And one of them is the subject of today's episode.
Yeah, a little cutie.
Yeah. What's his name?
Dev Patel.
Listen.
Yes, yes.
He's like a spoonful of sugar.
Ooh, I like it.
Helps the
Yes.
medicine go down. I hate myself for doing that. My tongue almost touched the microphone just then. I apologize. Yeah, Dev Patel.
Yes.
He's a cutie pie.
So cute. And amazing hair and eyes that are just little chocolate drops of sunshine. I just like, I feel like I want to scoop them out and put them on a baking sheet and then like cook them and then eat them and then be like, oh, Dev, I love you.
This is the creepiest thirst I have ever heard in my life. I'm offended and yet also aroused. Wow.
So yummy looking.
I think that's it. He has like this beautiful skin tone.
Yes.
It's very smooth looking. It
Yes.
looks like his skin is soft. And as we mentioned previously, he comes from a culture that lotions.
Yes.
You
Shout
can
out
tell.
to people who take care of their skin.
Listen, a moisturizing culture. That's the shit right there. But we know, listen, we can talk about Dev, but I feel like we need to bring in an expert.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah? You ready for this?
Yeah.
First buckets, it's Hunter Harris, the thirstiest known woman on the internet. And she's out here to talk about Dev Patel. Hi, Hunter.
You know, sure. Hello. Hello. I cannot wait to never show this to my mother.
You don't need to show it to her. Just put it in your CV.
Right.
Thirsty.
Yeah. Professionally thirsty.
Someone called me a thirst rider one, like at a party, and I was like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn, okay. I'll take it.
I'll take it. It's mine now.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dev Patel.
You want to count? You want to count the ways that Dev Patel makes you feel feelings?
Okay, let's start with the hair.
Okay.
Yes. Just hard yes.
Yeah.
He's tall.
Yes.
He is a tall king. And I
Yes.
know that the internet makes you think that short kings have a lot to offer, but they don't.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Lean in.
But Dev Patel is he's a tall man. And
Yeah.
we have to appreciate that. His skin is like, I mean, I don't know. I want to wear it. Like, I want to get all inside of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many things going on. Dev Patel is just like a hot man, a hot person.
He
Yeah,
is.
Yeah. I just checked his height. He is 6'2", which is the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
For height, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Taller than that,
wow.
and it's too tall, and it's like, okay, whatever.
All right. What is this?
It's like
yeah.
not even
6'2" is
reasonable.
just yeah. I'm not heightist at all. I enjoy pocket sized kings all the time because I myself am pocket sized. So I'm very receptive to my kind. I'm like, hey, listen, it's a short party. Come on in. That's me. However, every so often you get scooped up by someone 6'2",
Yes.
and you think to yourself, rah, this is life, you know.
Yeah.
Like I become the most East London version. I'm like, rah, that's nice.
It's just such a perfect height, so you can just put your shoulder on, your head on his shoulder
Yeah.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
you get surrounded by a good hug.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at short guys.
No.
Just be as tall as I am. I'm 5'6". I just need just be that, you know.
Yeah.
Don't be weird when I wear heels and stuff like that. But
Dev
yeah.
wouldn't be weird.
No.
Dev would
no,
lean.
no.
Yeah, he'd love that shit.
He'll bring them out for you. He'll like have on a little platter. He said, "Sweetheart, the heels today,"
Oh my
but with an accent, and I'll
Yeah.
be like, "Yes, Dev. Today the heels."
Is Skins the first time you remember seeing Dev?
No, the first time was Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay.
I didn't watch Skins until. I mean, I still hadn't actually watched it. I just watched clips of him on Skins years later. And, you know, he was cute then. But I think the thing about Dev is that feels so approachable and every man, should we say, is that it's the growth. He was, you know, regular attractive and then became just hot. Like,
Yeah.
just a deeply sexy adult man.
So that was the thing for me. Like, I'm a bit older than Dev is. And so I couldn't fancy him in his first iteration on Skins because I just couldn't. But then I remember, like you said, there was a stark moment of, oh no, he's hot now. Like, he's not just handsome or attractive. Like, he's actively hot. Like, there was a time when I saw him on a red carpet and he was wearing a very nice suit and he had his hair was all long. And I thought to myself, that's a hot man. That's like you said, it's just like, that's a sexy man. Just standing there, posing for photos, his mum just out of shot. And I was like, perfect. Like, this is it. Like, I looked at him and I thought, oh, yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah.
It was a before and after, like a definite moment.
Same. Slumdog Millionaire, I was like, oh, this is a cute boy, whatever, because I'm a bit older as well.
He was like a teenager.
Yeah, he
still
was
in
a
that
teenager.
movie.
He was cute.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was an interesting story.
Yes.
And then
and he was good in it.
Yeah, he was very good at it. And then he did some other projects, and then he kind of disappeared for a while, and then he
Well,
came
he had
back.
to grow up.
Yes,
It was
right?
he was in the metamorphosis. What is that? A caterpillar becoming
Yes.
a
He was in the
butterfly?
cocoon.
Yes, in the cocoon. Yes.
Yes. And then he
The hot cocoon.
popped up on a red carpet with hair to his shoulder, the facial hair, the beard, and then also his smile was just, it was very much a grown man smile at this point, like he has lived a life between Slumdog Millionaire and the red carpet for Lion. Like,
I mean, where do they do that? Like, how does that happen? How can I RSVP for myself? Right? I mean, he really went from, okay, cute, nice boy, to, oh, table for two, actually. Thank you.
yes.
Yeah, just the two of us.
I love how polite you are. Thank you.
Yes.
There's something about, so listen, between Slumdog and Lion, we're talking 8 years.
Yeah.
And in that time, he did a number of things. Some of them good, some of them truly atrocious. One of the not good ones was The Last Airbender.
Well,
We're not gonna. I love how we all just
There was
pause.
there was a moment of silence. A moment of silence for everyone's dignity involved with that.
Just pour a little ginger ale out. There was also the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, which the less said, the better. Because no. He also did a couple of he did a second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel as well, because one is not enough. I mean, Sonny had to write again. And then he played a character called Dion in Chappie, which remember Chappie?
Yeah.
Didn't look great. But then 2016, a mere 8 years later, and he was in Lion. Now I have to put my hand up here and just say, did you just say Raw?
no, not I.
Yes, you did. I love it.
She said that so casually. I was like, wait, what?
Yes, it's a very soft little roar on the side.
I literally thought there was a malfunction in my mic. I was like, wait, what? No, it was just Hunter in the back going raw. Have you seen Lion?
Yes, I have.
What did you think about Lion?
Sure. Okay, listen. Lion did its job, which is make Dev Patel hot, and it succeeded, and that's fine. He had to grow out the hair, he had to grow the beard.
Can you give us a brief summary for those of us who have not seen it yet?
Yes. So in Lion, Dev Patel plays an adopted Australian man who was adopted by Nicole Kidman, and he kind of goes on this journey of trying to find his birth parents. When he was a child, he was separated from them at a train station, I think. And the movie is about him doing all this research, breaking up with his girlfriend, dating me, not really, to finding his family. And at the end of the movie, he finds them, and you find out that his name means lion, and it's like very emotional, and it makes you want to call your mom and all of that. But more importantly, it's a movie about Dev Patel, his hair, and how it's just like the greatest thing I've ever witnessed in my whole life.
Yes.
And that's including Jackson Maine's hair, which we won't speak about.
No, we'll get
come
to it.
that.
You don't get to tweet recklessly as you have, and not for us not to talk about Jackson Maine. Don't worry about that. You've ensured that you're in the pantheon now. You're in the Jackson Maine Hall of Fame. Don't worry about that. The thing about him in Lion is, I guess you mentioned it previously. There's a tenderness to him. Like, he's very soft trademark, like soft TM. There's something about him that is obviously stoic and handsome or whatever, but his thing is approachability, that he's clearly very hot, but you never feel intimidated into not approaching or not watching or not looking at him. You just kind of, it folds you in.
He reminds me of, the idea of your best friend's younger brother who suddenly, like, gets tall over the summer while y'all were away, and then you come back and you're like, oh, your little brother is a man, I mean, that sounds really gross.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
it did sound gross. But I know exactly what you mean. That feeling of, I would never look.
yes.
And now
You're
I can't not
checking
see it.
for him, and
Yes.
suddenly he says,
yes.
What about it?
Yes.
Come through, Ariana. Yes. Yeah, there's something about it. So let's play a little clip now from the Golden Globes when he was introducing his film to be considered. And he does it with, well, I'll just let the clip do it.
In our next film, nominated for drama, a 5-year-old boy gets lost on a train and taken across India, far away from his family. Surviving many dangers, he's eventually adopted by an Australian couple. 25 years later, armed with a handful of memories, determination, and Google Earth, he sets out to return to his first home. We're proud of our 4 nominations tonight.
This is our movie's Lion.
Oh my gosh.
He said,
okay, first
yes.
of all, the baby, the little boy smiling, just like, I'm a professional actor. Notice
In a full
me.
tuxedo.
Yes.
In a full tuxedo.
Yes.
But with like little trainers on his tiny feet.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm so pretty. I want to give birth to that particular child. I love him.
It's already happened, Ben. But then Dev picks him up.
Yeah, he does.
When he picks him up, I have to tap out. Like there's no coming back.
There's nothing to. What do you? I remember seeing that, and I thought, oh, Dev Patel should be the father of my children. Like without even like, I didn't even pause.
It's
I
a
was
ready-made family. I just,
Right,
I
I can
just
just-
need to step into it.
This
Just
is it.
choose me. Recruit me,
select
Lord.
me. Lord, I see what you have done for others. Do it for me. Like I just seeing him, and the little boy's so cute, and he clearly trusts. And
Yeah.
listen, I don't like to subscribe to that whole thing, but I do think children have a sixth sense, and if they don't
Yeah.
fuck with you, then you've done something. But this boy's like all up around Dev, like, oh, it's my
Yeah.
buddy Dev, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a good man.
Yeah.
Right?
And Dev was so supportive. He was like, good job. You know?
Yes, at the end, he
Yes.
said, we rehearsed. Like, we're doing it today. Sonny is nailing it. I
He
said,
is.
yes.
He's killing it. I love that clip so much. Lion is, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I remember when I started it, I was like, oh, I'm going to be wildly depressed by this story. I know I'll be uplifted, blah, 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 but it's going to depress me. But yeah, like you, I was taken by his general aura and vibe.
Yeah.
He sells it. You want to see him find his family. You want to see him be happy. There's something about him that feels, like I said, very approachable, but also like he is so sensitive and so caring and so knowing that I don't think a lot of other people can convey in that same way.
Yeah, and he tends to stay out of the spotlight until he has a reason to be, you know.
He and his girlfriend they're quiet.
Yeah, which is good on one hand. And then on the other hand, it's like,
I'll find
but
a
I
way.
want to see you.
I love it. I think he's just one of those people, because, in that clip, he talks, and I enjoy hearing a British accent come out of a non-white man. And Dev is, in fact, an Asian man.
Right,
And he's British.
right.
And he's more often than not playing, well, maybe not more often, but he plays British as well. Because that's who he played in Skins. It's just a boy from Bristol, whatever. Like a fool, obviously, but still a regular teenager, you know? And I appreciate his presence. And I think telling stories like Lion or Slumdog is great and wonderful. And, he's a good actor, which is the other surprise, because child actors tend to be shit actors when they get older. And instead, Dev was like, no, I'll be good. And I was like, oh, no, you are quite talented. Good job. You should be Oscar nominated. Yeah, all right, good job. Like, I'm proud of him.
I was just interested because you're one of several actors who have come out of Skins to just go on to this sort of superstardom. I mean, obviously, Jack
Superstar,
O'Connell
yeah.
and Nicholas Hoult sort of spring to mind as two other examples.
cool.
I mean, when you were working on that show, did you get a sense that you were working with a really creative, really so much promise amongst this young cast? Because when I watched it, as much as I enjoyed it, I didn't just expect there to be... There's about 8 or 9 people that have really progressed, which is quite rare.
Not at all. Like my mum found the advert for that in the metro and dragged me along, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I was doing Skins. I had a great time with really cool people my age, and I started to understand the art of acting a little later on. But that's credit to the creators of Skins and the casting team, Jane Ripley and stuff, because they really went out of the box with it and were diverse in their thought process and very open-minded, and I think that's what people have connected to.
All right.
So I know he just said some lovely things. His eyebrows. I just want to smooth them all day.
Same. Hard same.
Yeah.
That's all I
he
want
could-
to do.
He could talk to me for hours.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, diverse process. Yes. Tell me. I'm like stroking the table.
Yes, you
know
really
what?
are.
You know what? Yes, Lord.
Okay, we have two things to talk about here. His obvious talent.
Right, of course.
It's not a euphemism, actual talent.
Yes.
But also his actually quite delicate and immense beauty.
Yes.
Because he's a beautiful man.
Yeah, looking at him, I realized that on Thursday Kit, we talk a lot about dark-haired men. We've got a
Yeah.
thing for dark-haired, floppy,
Yeah.
wavy,
Yeah.
thick brows.
Keep talking.
Thick,
Almost
with two
there.
C's,
Yeah.
not a CK.
Yes,
With two C's.
yes.
Maybe even three.
I mean, he
Maybe
just
even
looks-
three C's.
He just looks so.
You're rubbing your chest again.
I can't help it. Just scrumptious. Like he just
Scrumptious.
looks yummy.
All right, Mary Poppins. She said scrumptious.
I mean, I don't understand. Like you could just sprinkle him on your food to improve the dish.
Yeah, just grate him over some pasta.
Yeah.
Like a fine cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. And the thing is, like we said, when he played Anwar, he's very much comic relief. Every so often they give him like a really big moment. But for the most part, he was like this clown. So I guess it was also a surprise to kind of move him from class clown Anwar into Dev Patel, serious actor.
Right.
So I'm excited by Dev's career trajectory because he started out doing kind of British stuff and then he's moved to America more or less, I think, full time.
Yeah.
And he was in, of course, the most American thing you can be in. He was in Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom.
Right. Hunter, did you see that?
Oh, of course. Of course.
She's a completist fan.
The newsroom is the best fun I never want to have again.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about his character on The Newsroom.
On the newsroom, he played Neil. I think he was like a news assistant or like a production assistant. And his big thing was that I think in the later seasons, his big thing was that he was convinced that Bigfoot was still around.
Sure.
And he would just kind of come up with like these crazy schemes and stories from, the internet and whatever. And he was like the go-to young person in the newsroom, but in the
Same.
newsroom, on the newsroom, but same.
Same. I am the young person in my newsroom too, at a sprightly 35. That's me. I'm with the kids. Hello, fellow kids.
But I think to your earlier point, on the newsroom, he played kind of the foolish, naive, immature news hound, whatever. But I don't know. He is so whatever he says, I just want to listen to. Like, okay, sure, Bigfoot. When are we going? Who else gonna be there? Like, sure, whatever.
Okay, so I didn't watch it completely, like all the way through. I'll pop in on an episode or so and then be like, I can't watch this shit. I'm not a fan of Sorkin.
That's fair.
But I wanted to ask, do you remember if he had a love life on the show? Like what? No, yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna say. That's like the it almost seems like Aaron Sorkin malpractice that he didn't have like a very substantial kind of inner life on that show, which I think happens to a lot of young actors who take supporting roles on like big kind of prestige projects like that.
Right.
But no, he was very much like the punch, like just deliver the jokes at the end of
Right.
like, these big important monologues that are very Sorkin.
Right.
Okay.
And that's like a symptom in the general, like the wider world of entertainment, right? Where you have compelling characters or would be compelling characters. And part of the way to make them more compelling would be to give them a rich interior life, to give them love interests, cough, cough, people who look like me, perhaps. But I feel like the idea, like we spoke about this when we spoke to Rahul Kohli as well, and how for the longest time he was kind of sexless and how he was
Right.
glad to be on iZombie where they kind of threw love interest at him.
Right.
And I was like, yes. Now imagine Dev with, I don't know, a young, intrepid reporter, I don't know, maybe Vulture. Maybe her name is Hunter. Like, can you not see Neil and Hunter just like power coupling it through.
Absolutely.
Like,
Oh
right.
my god. Okay, now people will actually have to mute me on Twitter. Like for real. Oh, listen, you will never hear the end of it. Oh my god.
But wouldn't that be something like? I feel like we are cheated so often of having these men that we love. Like we already know there's like a massive dearth of men of color
Right.
on TV in
Right.
substantial roles, and then you finally have one. It's an Aaron Sorkin prestige drama, and it's like, give him a partner, give him a boyfriend, give him a girlfriend, give him a something. Let's make him more than just your jokey deliverer of
Right,
jokes,
right.
And Deb is good at that.
Yeah.
But, I'm just like, God, I can imagine him so clearly in a romantic comedy. Like, I can see it in front of
Oh
me.
my gosh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he could have played the Home Again, the Reese Witherspoon comedy. He could have been all of those three brothers. Like
Right.
he can do all of those things. He can be like surly,
Yes.
he can be funny, he can be cute and charming and flirty. Cast me in that too. That'll be perfect. I like I can act. But no, I think he can do all of these things, and it's just kind of a bummer that it's taken. I mean, that we live in an industry and in a world that's like so backwards that it's taken people so long to realize that.
Yeah. It's very frustrating.
It is, because he's so good. And like, I don't want to like obsess about your private life. That's what
Right.
we don't do that on Thursday Kid. We don't talk about it. But it's like, every time I see him with like, every so often there's like a photo of him and his girlfriend and they're walking down the street and I'm like, cool, this should be on a film set. Like, he's already sexy. He's already
Right.
very hot.
Right.
Now give him the tools, put some words in his mouth so that this becomes a reality that I can watch over and over again
Yeah.
in a non-creepy way. That's all I want. I just want to be not creepy with Dev Patel. Like, that's my goal. I want to be uncreepy with you, Dev. Call me.
There's a photo of him with Octavia Spencer from some variety event.
Yes.
And when I tell you that this is the most important image of my life, they're just like kind of clasping hands very cutely. He's looking at her, she's looking at him, and it's like intimacy. Like, that is what I want on season 2 of Big Little Lies. Like,
Yeah.
it is just, I can write the plot right now. He is the school principal. Octavia Spencer is the new mom. They start having an affair.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm into it. I'm looking at the photo right now. Octavia's hair is just as glossy as Dev's. Which
Yes.
is saying a lot because Dev's hair it stays glossy.
Yes.
But again, two moisturizing cultures meeting. And their hands are clasped and his hands are big. And he's wearing a crisp white shirt and a really lovely charcoal suit. And Octavia's wearing like a plum colored dress, and they just look so happy to be in each other's company.
That's the thing. Dev seems to glow and make other people glow, and he reflects other people's glows, and like it's this big circle of just glowing orb of beauty. You know,
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
Imagine, oh God, I'm trying to imagine what he'd look like standing next to me. I think it would work out really well. I'm purely objectively.
It would work. Maybe.
I think it could work. I feel like it could. Yeah, we won't know until he comes to the studio. Hey, Dev.
Right. No, Hunter is like, yeah, but me.
We'll invite you for like the last 10 minutes, but we'll be here for like a solid hour before that. I'm very drawn to him in a very uncomplicated, like, oh, that's a beautiful thing, and I want to go to it.
Yeah, and I hope we get to see more of him because he's a great actor, beautiful to look at, and he also seems to have a good rapport with his castmates. So
Right. He seems
to
like
be
a good man.
Yeah.
And he always, all the interviews that he does, he always seems kind of humble.
Very
And-
thoughtful.
Yes.
Very thoughtful.
But not in like it's not a performative woke way of kind of like, ooh, diversity.
No, if you listen to him, he's not saying lots of buzzwords. He's just kind of saying, I'm really grateful.
Right.
That's so sweet.
yeah.
Get out. Yeah, I appreciate just his presence. And considering how hot he is and how nice I think he is, I feel like if I met him, I'd cry a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like, oh my God, damn height. And then I'd start crying. It wouldn't even
I
be
feel
a
like
thing.
Hunter will definitely like pass out. Would you?
I think I would get emotional. I
Yeah.
think I would. Maybe I'd start crying. I don't think I'd pass out. I would definitely hide.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. I know that feeling.
I just have this image of you like under a desk or a table or something. Like, he's too beautiful. I must look away.
You know that meme photo of Taraji P. Henson as Cookie hiding behind the car? That's Hunter hiding behind a car.
Yes,
Oh my God, it's Dev. He's just like down the street.
It's like whenever people see him around New York, they'll text me. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Dev sighting," and I'm like, "Girl, don't let me know. Don't tell me that."
No locations, please.
It's like, here I come. Let me get on. Let me get on this train.
So one of the things that really stood out for me about your Twitter presence, Hunter,
Oh Lord.
is the "Call Me by Your Name" coverage that you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Specifically about Armie Hammer's voice. Let's talk about that. What was it about his voice for you?
Okay. At my funeral, as I'm being lowered into the grave, someone will interrupt my funeral to bring me back from the dead and show me "Call Me by Your Name" meme that they're sure I haven't seen, and I'm sure I have. And it's just, that's kind of the life I've chosen for myself. But with Armie Hammer's voice, it sounds so, it's like deep, but it also feels very like rich, sort of wet, like honey, like maple syrup, like everything I want in my body. I mean, you know, I love his wife. Let me not be nasty.
We respect it.
Here I go. And here I go. But no, I love, it's like, it feels very tender, but also very commanding. I love his voice. And I wrote a thing that was like, I think 20 or 25 descriptions of his voice whenever he read the "Call Me by Your Name" audiobook. And, you know, I think voice acting like that is very hard to do, where you are playing both characters, but also like he's reading, you know, a young person who's like madly desirous, who's just horny and desperate for attention, and then he's also reading the part of like this measured older person who is like, okay, it's fine to want these things, but like let's be a little bit more strategic or thoughtful in this desire, and it was just really great.
Better now? No. We should go.
Why?
I know myself, okay? And we've been good. We haven't done anything to be ashamed of, and that's a good thing. I want to be good. Okay?
Am I offending you?
Just don't.
I'm just going to very quickly go down the list of things that the piece was called "Just 20 Descriptions of Armie Hammer's Voice." There's a couple of very long, involved ones, also some short ones. I'm just going to read number 17, which got me in my old millennial heart. "Armie Hammer sounds so sumptuous and moneyed, you might think you've paid off all your student loans," which I think is
Nice.
pretty solid. And then there's also this very specific moment. "Armie Hammer's voice sounds like when the violins come in on Nelly's Grills," which is to say that it sounds like the ideal combination of highbrow and lowbrow. And then this one, which to me is the highest praise you could give anyone's voice. "Armie Hammer's voice sounds as euphonious as Oprah's voice," which is quite possibly the highest compliment you could ever pay another human. Correct. And there are 20 of these Armie Hammer's voice sounds like. So I think that's one of my favorite things. Like, I love all your voice pieces.
I love it.
And whenever you do 20 things, I'm like, oh, here we go. And then I read it and I'm just like, wow, I love / hate her so much. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. It's just the way I really feel like the embodiment of that meme, her mind. But there is there's a bit where you say something like Armie's voice tastes like, it looks like it tastes like linguine, and I was like, bitch, yes, I get it. Like,
I remember that was like dead ass something I like ate for dinner like 2 nights before, and I was like, you know what? That's it. That's his voice.
Took out your notepad and you were like,
good.
Write it down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's solid. I love it. But then you segued your thirst from "Call Me by Your Name" almost seamlessly into into "A Star Is Born." Specifically, one person in "A Star Is Born." and that was Bradley Cooper as Jackson Maine.
Jackson Maine.
And this is the only time you've ever found him that attractive? Or attractive
at all.
period?
No,
yeah,
no.
Okay.
I mean, I feel comfortable saying Bradley Cooper has chosen to live as an ugly man, and that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, of course, live your life. But as Jackson Maine, it's like, ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, so I have no intention of seeing this movie. I have a complicated relationship with musicals and anything like that, and I am not. Lady Gaga is not a part of my ministry, so it's just like whatever. And Bradley Cooper, like when he first came on the scene, what was the other thing he was in?
Alias.
Limitless.
Alias. I didn't watch that. So what I knew him from is the Vegas Bachelor.
Hangover.
Thank you. So I knew him from that.
From the Vegas. All right, auntie.
Yeah. And he just seemed kind of, like a little broy douchebag, whatever, that I was supposed to find attractive because he was blonde. So I did.
So you rebelled.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling him. But I did see some pictures of him from the A Star is Born promotion. And I was like, oh, is this what he looks like the whole movie? Because maybe I could go see it. But then I was like, no. And, I finished ovulating and I was like, no, I'm not going to go see this movie. I took my ovulation goggles off and I was like, okay, I'm good. But I like, you have an essay or an article about his hair in the movie, right?
His hair and his beard and his makeup.
Yes.
There's no part of him that Hunter hasn't examined.
There are a couple parts.
Oh God. Put that away. You put that laugh back in its box. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I personally, my favorite thing about your overwhelming thirst for A Star is Born, but specifically Jackson Maine, aka Bradley Cooper in this one role, is how you're almost surprised by, and I love that feeling of being surprised by a thirst. Where you're
I'm surprised by my own thirst.
Yeah, for this guy,
yes.
I didn't expect this, the thing I hadn't thought to expect. And then once you become interested in that, suddenly it's like a dog with a bone. It's like I have to examine every single part.
He's all I think about. I mean, I wish.
Okay.
The important element is the whiskey. It's basically an ice cube. Like the iguana and the Adam's apple is the ice cube inside a glass of whiskey. It's actually like you. I was like, huh. And then I heard him speak. And by the end of the movie, I literally sat there with my hands steepled, and I was like, I think I fancy Bradley Cooper now. And that was a shock for me. And then I realized it wasn't Bradley. It was just Jackson.
I'm upset. MP3. I sat in that theater and I said, no. No. Are you?
Yet.
And look at me now.
Right. Look at you now.
Now I don't know. Get on the internet, type my little jokes, and say, giddy up.
So do we have a clip of his voice? I'd like to hear what has everyone all a tither.
Nicole, we do have a clip of his voice. Hold on.
Do you write songs or anything?
I don't sing my own songs.
Why?
I just don't feel comfortable.
Why wouldn't you feel comfortable?
Well, because, almost every single person that I've come in contact with in the music industry has told me that my nose is too big and that I won't make it.
Your nose is beautiful. Are you showing me your nose right now?
Yeah.
You don't have to show it to me. I've been looking at it all night.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm going to be thinking about your nose for a very long time.
You're full of shit.
I'm not full of shit.
Yeah,
I'm telling
you
you the truth.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
Can I touch your nose?
Oh, my gosh.
Let me just touch it for a second.
Wow, that was terrible.
No. So listen, wait. So when I saw this clip, I also was kind of like, oh, this is terrible. And then I saw it in the context of the film, and I was like, hot.
I was like, my nose needs a touch. She's ready. I just touched my nose.
Yes, she did.
I touched my own nose.
Oh my God.
I mean, oh my God. What?
The voice is really something. And sustained over an hour and whatever.
There's one part where she's like, I don't feel this way about everyone. And he's like, well, good. And I'm like, oh, okay. Points were made. A dissertation was published.
Yeah. I think what it is he seems Jackson Maine obviously has some vanities, but he's also remarkably unvain. He feels like the opposite of many a Hollywood star. There is something about that, and for me that's kind of layered into his voice where he's just kind of like, when he's singing, of course, it's all clear and like distinct, and you know the voice. But when he's talking, he's almost like abashed to be talking. Like it's very, and then later on we discover the root of the voice and why he has the voice, and it's very heartbreaking and wonderful. But the whole thing is just like, I mean, there were times when I was like, I don't understand what anyone is saying because his voice is so deep and ridiculous. But also I loved it. It felt like a cat was sitting not on my chest but inside my chest, like just stretching and like yawning very lazily. It just felt like, when cats do that and everything feels like extended and slow. Like
No.
If
I don't know anything about cats.
no, okay, but that feeling of just like stretching, like his voice made me feel warm, like inside my chest.
There is something that feels very relaxed about it, that he is like, and this is the point in the movie, he's so not into like the scene or whatever. He's like actually like trying to be like a good artist.
Right.
And so there's something about the voice that kind of establishes that he doesn't care about putting on airs or about being anything that he's not, or about being like a certain type of star, that he is just kind of like a boy from Arizona who somehow became famous.
Right.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to see it.
That's
but
fair.
I kind of understand. I kind of understand it as somebody that, I like a good drawl.
Yeah. And it's a proper drawl.
There's something about him that feels so earnest. Like he, in that scene specifically, he's so excited for her to be there. You can see that he's so like giddy over this woman showing up and about them starting this life together. And that's like, like it's like a labradoodle or something like that. Like just a dog who's so loyal, and it's like, okay. And then he has like the tan skin.
Yeah. That skin looks wrecked. Like he looks like he's been drinking in the sun for years.
Amen.
Shout out to the makeup artist. They really killed it.
Hallelujah. Her name is V. Neal, and she is my personal hero.
You interviewed her, right?
And she had to tan him every single day. And we were on the phone. I was like, I think he's so hot in this movie. And she's like, you know what? I think so too. That's the power of Pine Sol, baby.
That's a woman who enjoys her work.
How do you figure out what to focus your thirst on when you're talking about, like, why Armie Hammer's voice as opposed to his height, or Bradley Cooper's, the specific character and his voice or whatever? Are you just a voice person?
Maybe I am a voice person, because I think that is pretty consistent in my work. I'm like so fake serious.
Nothing fake about it.
No, you can be a thirst scholar.
Yes.
But no, it's just, certain things. I think anyone can call someone hot. Like, that's pretty easy. But I think, and what you guys are so great at, too, is like pinpointing, oh, this is the thing that makes him different than anyone else, or this person different from anyone else. And for Armie Hammer, it was the voice. For Bradley Cooper, it is Jackson Maine. Because, I think, and there's just like an intensity to that character that I think is really, really sexy and appealing as just someone who spends way too much time on work anyway. But yeah. And then the most trouble I got in was when I said Bradley Cooper as Jackson Maine would eat the peach and call me by your name.
Wow.
So listen, that tweet made it to our live show in Toronto. We blew that up and put it on the stage. And when it came on, the audience gasped and recoiled, but also were like, yes.
I mean, listen, if Bradley Cooper as Jackson Maine, in this Jackson Maine mindset, were on set, he would just grab it and say, oh, yep. There we go. It would go all down his beard, onto his little shirt.
Yes.
I would have said, ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh. Like,
that was 3 separate different oohs.
Yeah,
and I appreciate all of them.
All night. Okay.
Yeah.
You're ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Hunter, I'm so glad you were able to join us today in the studio. Where can we find you on the internet?
My Twitter is @HunterYHarris, and my Instagram is @HunterH.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you both.
I feel like my thirst has grown deep like rivers, and I will be exploring it in some detail over the next several hours.
All right, so Hunter, we've talked about our main thirst object for today, Dev Patel. We've talked about Armie Hammer's voice in the audiobook of Call Me By Your Name. And we just finished talking about Bradley Cooper as Jackson Maine in A Star Is Born only.
Only.
Okay. I love the specificity. That's awesome.
That's like all good thirst. You got to pick a very specific thing, zoom in on it. And that's exactly why Hunter is here.
Yes.
She's the Grissom of thirst. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Bim.
These drabbles that we're about to do in this here fanfic wars,
Yes.
it's been a revelation for me because I fancy Dev Patel in a very benign way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so having to come up with a scenario where, you know, I was mildly hot under the collar was a little bit of a challenge because he's such a sweetheart that all I want to write is, and then we hugged and it was lovely. Because that's how I fancy him, you know?
Yeah, uh-huh.
But even then, I think I dug deep, lol, and I found something. How are you feeling about drabbles this week?
I decided to be sweet because...
Really? Because your grin looks very naughty.
No.
Okay, my bad.
No. Yeah, I decided to go for sweet since Dev seems very sweet to me. So,
Does he?
Yes.
It's his chocolate eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he seems like he'd be a nice fellow to hang out with.
Shut up.
Time to time.
Shut up. A nice fellow to hang out with. Thank you, Mother Nicole. Bloody hell. All right, do you want to go first or shall I?
You can go first.
Oh, really? It's how generous of
Yes.
you. Okay. Dev's tongue darted between his front teeth in concentration as he moved the pot from the front burner to a smaller one at the back. When he was satisfied at its placement, he turned to me expectantly. Now what? He said. Now nothing, I replied, ruffling the hair that had fallen into his face from his earlier effort of stirring. Now we wait. He circled my wrist with his warm, elegant fingers, letting my hand graze his nose and then his lips on the way down, before pressing them to the center of my palm. They felt soft, and so I curled my other hand into his jumper to draw him closer so I could feel them better with mine. When we separated, the pupils of his warm cocoa eyes had expanded, and our breath emerged much sharper. How long? Dev asked. How long what? I replied just as breathlessly. Put the timer on, love, he said with a grin.
Okay, Bim. I see you, bitch.
That's because you have eyes. You okay?
Nice. Yes, I'm
Thank
fine.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
That's really the highest praise. Cheers, Nicole. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. I'm excited to hear your drabble because your sweet is always so different to my sweet. So I want to see what Nicole thinks is sweet for Dev.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Dev can see the panic in my eyes and holds my hand until the skydiving instructor comes to check the straps on my parachute.
Oh.
I'm trying to pay attention to the last-minute bits of advice, but I have to calm my breathing. The instructor moves away and Dev stands in front of me, forcing me to make eye contact. I do want to lose myself in him, but even his lashes aren't enough to distract me from the fear crowding my chest. He cups my face in his hands and rests his forehead against mine. I close my eyes and he begins to hum a little off-key, a nonsense tune that sends his voice chasing away all the thoughts about what could go wrong.
Bitch.
He kisses me softly, and with the air between us still tasting of his kiss, he tells me nothing will ever go wrong with him next to me. I open my eyes and pull back to look at him. I can't respond because I'm afraid I'll cry, but he reads my face and smiles before kissing me one more time. See you on the ground, he says, and then we'll go home.
Wow. So the air still tastes of his what? His kiss? Bitch! Wow.
I feel like he's a sweet young man. You know?
Shut up! Shut up! Every time you have a voice as gooey as honey, I'm like, this bitch. He's a sweet young man. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Dev Patel. I guess, surprise, motherfucker. I feel feelings. Wow. Okay, well, listeners, you might want to vote on this. It's up to you. I'm blown away.
Bim has her hands on her face.
I'm seeing you and Deb with your foreheads pressed together, and I'm delighted in my heart. Like, I'm happy for both of you. I think what a lovely match those two are. So he's, as we mentioned before, he's the right height,
Yeah.
He does all the things.
Yeah.
That's your sweet spot.
It is.
And crucially, you're his sweet spot. That's really lovely. No, but listen, have a listen to both of these drabbles. Pick the one that really speaks to you. Is it Dev humming a nonsensical tune to calm Nicole's crowded chest full of fear? Or is it the chap that's telling me to put the timer on so that we can do some stuff? It's entirely up to
stuff? What stuff are you going to do?
I don't know. Play a quick game of Monopoly.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
In the middle of cooking.
Why the fuck not?
Sure.
Where is it written that we can't play Monopoly? Or even a spirited game of snakes and ladders?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great.
I'll allow it.
It's a good conversation we just had. But we'll put up a poll on Twitter, which is First Aid Kit, and we'll do a little summary of each story, and then you get to vote. We'll give it a day so that they kind of marinate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you come out and you think to yourself, which Dev do I want this week? And then you vote accordingly. As we always say, though, Nicole.
Yeah, everybody is a winner. No one loses.
No one loses except the loser. But you should definitely do it. We love seeing how it swings every week. And it's always fascinating to see. You can always tell when when the news is bad, because Nicole's far filthier stuff is always kind of like, fuck it, I need this. And everyone and I'm like, you know what? Fair fucking, I mean, I get it. But you listen, pick one and we'll discuss. I personally, I say this all the time, but I love the drabbles.
Yes.
You love the
them
drabble,
too. Yes,
right?
Yes.
It's just nothing but joy
Yeah.
in this corner of the internet where everything is terrible except fucking fanfic, as always.
My favorite thing is when people vote and then they reply with what they voted with and they apologize to the person that they did not vote for. You don't have to apologize.
I
That's so sweet.
I like that they do, though. I love it. I'm like, no, you should feel bad. Yeah. A vote for Nicole is a dagger in my heart. But you know what? It's fine. I appreciate that.
They're out here, every vote is like a little pin in the voodoo doll.
Truly. I'm just like, wow. I'm walking down the street and I feel a pain in my back and I'm like, oh, someone just voted for Nicole. Yeah. I feel it. No, all jokes aside, It's great. I really love it. And thank you all for interacting with us on Twitter and telling us how you feel about these drabbles, because the aim every time, the motive is to get you to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. First Aid Kit is produced by us, Nicole Perkins and Bim Adewunmi, TK Dutes, Camila Salazar, and Julia Furlan. Our music is by Tanya Morgan.
Big, huge thanks to our guest, Hunter Harris. You can find her and her indescribably thirsty tweets at Hunter Y. Harris. And you can follow the show on Twitter at First Aid Kit. And Nicole and I are also on Twitter at Tennessee Whiskey Woman. That's TN Whiskey with an E Woman, and Bimadu, BIMADEW. Plus, we're on Tumblr at firstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com. So please come over there and thirst with us.
Please head over to Apple Podcasts to leave a review and rate the show. It helps other people discover First Aid Kit. And as always, we appreciate 5 stars. To the stars and back.
To the stars and back. I love it. If you live tweet your listen, please use the hashtag TACPOD. That's TAKPOD. And you can send us emails of love and affection at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
And as always, stay thirsty. That is my lungs just shriveling in my chest.
You sound like a creature from Lord of the Rings.
That's how I feel.
And then Dev said to me, take the cup of tea.
Wow, unplanned. We really are the same.